Hey guys, it's Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got some more Loona, and today's uploads we're going to do the Mera video that she took down but was re-uploaded. So I will apologize right now as my phone just keeps going off today. We're gonna put that on mute. Saturday I'm off. People still need things. It was re-uploaded, and so it's her video. It was re-uploaded by a fan, so obviously I'll leave a link to this in the description, as well as let y'all know that this video is only in 480p. So although y'all get the smaller version, you know, down here, if it just looks bad, there's nothing I can do about it. It's 480p. So just imagine you're only seeing a small version. I get to see it in the full screen of 480p. And then we'll also have the Avengers of K-pop going up today as well. But right now, this one is the Inconstant Moon, A History of Loona by Mera. And let's just get into it. Let's go.
Disclaimer before we get into it, this is not meant to be a guide to Loona. Do not expect this to be a comprehensive introduction to the members or the music. Rather, it's a look at the history of the group and their place in the industry. Anyway, with that aside, I do not have all the facts. Not every single detail is here. I'm sure Orbits have much more information stored away. Every statistic used is readily available.
I like how Mera does the. I don't know anything about Mera or what other videos she has outside of we watched the Dreamcatcher one, avoiding dodging disbandment, and I like how she's just very upfront with her information. And my Loona guide, if you will, has said that she probably took this down because there's just so much happening with Loona that I think that she might have felt that it just wasn't good enough. I don't know. I don't know. I'm speculating at this point, but I like how she puts her disclaimers up there. But I feel like any information she gives is really good information, and obviously a lot of y'all wanted me to watch this one, so that's why we're doing it.
Information. This video is not intended to point fingers at certain groups nor start any fan wars. I ask that you leave your opinions about the members, your opinions about the fandom, and your opinions about any other
spoilers
groups
for The Shining
out of your consideration for the video.
Guys, it's a 40-year-old movie. Come on.
Swear not by the moon, the fickle moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circle orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable.
I really like how she does her vids too.
Our story starts in April of 2016 with Blockberry Creative, an entertainment company in South Korea and a subsidiary of Polaris Entertainment. Polaris, bowl of rice. I'm going with Polaris. Anyway, Blockberry is the youngest child of a very rich family, but for now, all you need to know is that they're shiny, new, and wealthy. So here's Blockberry, freshly minted with a big bank account and a blank slate. What do? In early October, just 6 months after being founded, Blockberry makes an announcement. Their first ever group is coming. 12 members, gorgeous visuals, crazy storytelling, fancy art things, and it's all coming in 18 months. Wait. 18 months? Blockberry's plan is to slowly release the group through an 18-month debut project. The group members will be revealed one by one, each with a personalized solo song and a single album.
I kind of like this though. This was cool though.
Ida de Sonyo, or Girl of the Month. And if you take the first letter of each syllable, turn in a circle, and clap your hands 3 times, that spells Loona. Now let's get into the goods.
Is that why they're done a certain way and then okay, Blockberry, I see you.
The first member released under Loona is Heejin in October of 2016.
Heejin?
Heejin, there's
Should I be saying Jin instead of Jin?
And Yojin. And reaching 5th member Vivi, who hasn't yet released her solo, in March of 2017. These first few members form Loona's first sub.
Is that why she took it down? It's a little outdated.
Except Yojin, she's too short. Just kidding. It's because she's too young, and also maybe because she's failing school. 1/3 has an airbrushed girly theme, and their music is centered around real-life struggles like love and girlhood and being a cyborg. 1/3 puts out their debut album in March to play the early market, but sandwiched between G-Friend and the debut of Pristin, the album doesn't pass the 3,000 sales mark. 1/3 releases a repackage in April, but that sells even fewer copies. In the midst of all this, Vivi has her solo debut in April, which sells more copies than both the 1/3 albums combined. So far, the solo debuts are Loona's biggest moneymakers. Moving along, we hit the summer releases.
Hi, Kimlip.
6th member Kimlip debuts in late May and marks a change in Loona's visual and auditory dynamic. She's followed
Yeah.
by Jinsol in June and Cherry in
The
July.
bias
These three
Jinsu.
members form the second Luna subunit, Odd Eye Circle. Their
And they're here to
concept is
kill
much more
you.
mysterious, and their music takes influence from the Western mainstream. They release an album in September, Mix and Match, and while it doesn't chart as highly as 1/3's debut, it actually sells better, finally crossing the 3,000 sales mark after the first month. Odd Eye Circle
1/3 probably
releases
has
a
my
repackaged
favorite
album in October, which
track
does
from
even
Loona
better,
altogether. So
dodging
that
behind
song
twice
is a
and claiming the
masterpiece.
final selling spot of the month. Now, something important happens just before Odd Eye Circle releases their album, Mix 9.
Okay, so I learned a little bit about this from the Dreamcatcher thing, because like I've
And
heard
boy,
of
do I
Mix
wish
9, but I
that
didn't really
Dreamcatcher had
know
been the
about
final
Mix
time
9.
we'd have to talk about Mix 9. Nope! Luna also makes a pit stop at Mix 9. YG calls the Loona project unappealing, but Heejin and Hyunjin pass auditions, and this is when things get interesting. The girls managed to scrape up a decent amount of
Jujin?
attention for Loona while competing on Mix 9. Heejin in particular amasses significant popularity. Hyunjin makes it into the top 18 for girls, and Heejin ranks number 4 out of all female contestants, putting her in the final lineup for the girls' team. At the end of the day, the boys' team is declared the winners, but it ends up not mattering either way. Cue the Carmen. The final group's debut is cancelled by YG, and their stock pretty much plummets. The girls return to Blockberry without a winning title, but it's more a success than a loss. The girls were able to return to an actively promoting project, and the show had brought curious attention to Loona. There's a lot more details in there, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, I'm
The
telling you
debut
right
train
now,
keeps
watching
rolling.
stuff in 480p
November, the
sucks.
next batch of Loona members come tumbling out of the oven. 9th member Eve debuts, followed by Chu in December and Go On in January of 2018. There's a
Chu?
couple fan activities here and there, as well as Blockberry releasing a video for a day that doesn't exist, but finally, on March 30th, the final members revealed. Olivia Hay debuts with her song Egoist, and we see the two bookend members
she's
of Loona
terrifying.
together at last. The final 4 members form the last Loona subunit, YY by Y. YY by Y plans to release in late May, which kind of puts the fear of God in some fans, as Idol debuts at the very beginning of the month, followed by comebacks from BTS and Kristen. But it seems Blockberry are finally learning to play the market, because YY by Y drops just at the end of May, and in the midst of the heavy-hitting badass concepts, YY by Y is an electropop sound with a bright concept. While there is no repackage, the album, Beauty and the Beat, sells higher than the other 4 subunit
Beauty and
albums
the Beat.
combined.
Nice.
And it
I
doesn't
like the
stop
name of
there. With all 12 Pokemon
Eve
finally
been coming for me lately,
Loona
too. I ain't
releases
gonna
a
even cap
full
about
group
that.
pre-debut song, Favorite, just before they're set to officially debut. 2 days before debut, Loona holds Loona Birth, a debut concert in Seoul for an audience of 3,000, where the members perform all 12 solo songs, songs from each subunit, and 5 group songs, including their
Nice.
debut single.
Hi,
August
hi.
20th, 2018. 30 music videos, all over the world, nearly 2 years worth of work, but it's finally done. After 1 year, 10 months, and 17 days, all 12 girls together at last. Loona officially debuts on August 20th, 2018, with their title track, Hi Hi.
It's catchy as hell, too. So don't get me wrong, Halcyon still looks good with the longer hair, but I think that bob cut on her is just top tier. Go on with the blue hair.
Hi Hi is a more
Don't even get me
domestic-based
started.
color pop concept, featuring cheer skirts, bright colors, powerful vocals from the members. The video eats over 1 million views per day, and the album sells almost 53,000 copies by the end of the year, making it the second
million views a
highest
day is
selling
pretty
album
nuts.
for a girl group debut that year. The album peaks at number 2 on the Gaon chart, and the girls promote the song on music shows for 7 weeks. It seems the 2-year-long project may have bought Loona a ticket to immediate success. Only the next comeback can tell. A month goes by. Nothing new, but hey, just had their debut, right? Then 2. Then 3. Then 4. Suddenly, it's December and no sign of Loona. And then the year is over. No sign of Loona. After getting content practically on a monthly basis for nearly 2 years, it feels a bit strange
It
to
can
not
feel-
be hearing
yeah,
from
yeah, I
them
can
for
understand
so
that.
long. In fact, this particular hiatus lasts exactly half a year, and to say fans get antsy is an
Youjin's too
understatement.
cute.
Finally, in February, a teaser hits, confirming the upcoming comeback, Butterfly.
Butterfly.
Celebrations. After 6 months of waiting, Loona has a comeback.
The vocals in this song, Jesus Christ. I want to get to a dance practice with Butterfly too. This choreo looks fucking intense and awesome.
Butterfly is the lead single of their repackaged debut album, Multiply Multiply. The comeback is a reverse from the bright pop of Hi Hi, this time aiming at a different part of the mainstream, incorporating trendy bass and synth, powerful dancing, and the ever-popular beat drop. The concept explores a different side of femininity, and the comeback is widely celebrated in the fandom. The song hits strongest in the international market, charting at 6 on Billboard's World Digital Songs. Finally, it looks like Loona has a shot at a first win. The group promotes the comeback for 6 weeks, and the fan base sees expansion into the domestic market as well as the international.
I know apples are a thing.
Butterfly, however, doesn't lead to the first win fans think it will. Domestically, things take a turn for the worse. Despite all the hype, the repackaged album doesn't sell anywhere near their first, and once it drops off the charts, the era is basically over. This marks a trend in the beginning schism between the international popularity Loona is experiencing within their own fandom and the actual domestic results of their success. But it's still a new year. There's always next comeback, right? Blockberry releases a few teasers hinting at a potential summer comeback, and then radio silence. Complete and utter vacancy.
Okay.
Right as it seemed a comeback was about to be born, nothing comes out of Blockberry. The months begin passing by. The new comeback season kicks in and groups start rolling in the revenue, and no sign of Loona. Summer ends, and fall begins. Boom. News turns up in the fall. Loona's seemingly endless well of funds has run dry, and Blockberry Creative is in debt. Everything goes to hell in a handbasket. The news sparks disbandment rumors, and fear takes everything from there. The fans trend #SaveLoona on Twitter, and a few GoFundMes are set up, but they go nowhere. The fan base goes crazy, Blockberry drops dormant, and Loona falls completely silent.
Okay, and then they release the dance covers,
moon's an
right?
errant thief, and her pale fire she snatches from the sun.
And I would say that because I think my Loona guide said that these dance teasers kind of almost saved Loona.
So what happened? Let's take a look at the exterior factors first. This is side 1 to our story. Let's take it back even before the beginning of Blockberry Creative. It all begins with an arms trade company called Ilkwang Group. Ilkwang Group is a wealthy South Korean corporation that
I like this stuff. Like, she's super informative. I like this stuff.
And primarily deals in the military arms trade. In 2006, Ilkwang gives birth to Polaris Entertainment. And that might seem strange, but it's not unusual for corporations to establish footholds in many industries.
Right,
There's money to be made in the music industry, as well as a lot of influence. In 2016, Polaris gives birth to Ilkwang's grandchild, Blockberry Creative. While the Loona project was a creative way to bring in fans, it was also expensive.
I'm
Extremely expensive. All in all, the pre-debut project cost nearly $9 million. Blockberry belongs to Ilkwang, who is very wealthy, but even the beginnings of Loona's project have notable strain. Plans for Loona are in action as early as 2014, with songs, designs, and promotions already prepared, before Blockberry even exists. And that content that will eventually become Loona is stored up in Polaris. In all likelihood, Loona may have actually originally been a Polaris group. And then, in March of 2015, an ongoing investigation into the Korean arms industry reveals a trail of corruption leading back to Ilkwang. The South Korean government raids the office, and the CEO of Ilkwang is arrested for fraud and temporarily puts the whole company, Polaris included, on ice. He's also accused of sexual predation, but we're not going to get into that this time. After things start to thaw out, Ilkwang tries to find themselves a new CEO, but the impact of the investigation is crippling. Both companies are hit hard in the wallet. After a year, they decide to establish a subsidiary, Blockberry Creative, and all plans for the Loona project are rehoused over there. Either Blockberry is a planned subsidiary now bruised from the events of 2015, or Blockberry pops up in a desperate bid to continue the new project without having Polaris' name stapled to it. Either way, there's less money in the game than originally planned, and the project bites off more than it can chew. After 1/3 albums sell low, Blockberry scales back the expenses for the next batch of debuts. No more overseas photo shoots, no more overly elaborate sets. Right around Odd Eye Circle, Blockberry goes through another series of changes. During the first half of the project, Blockberry's main distributor is Stone Music, but after Jinsoul's debut, they switch over to Vlending. This switch shows an improvement in album sales, but causes company confusion and budget strain, messing with the project's timeline. When Loona debuts in 2018, the album does well, but not nearly well enough to pay off the insane debut cost. After Hi Hi, Blockberry switches their distribution yet again, this time to Kakao M. And we've talked about Kakao M before, but they seem particularly disliked by parts of the fandom due to a lot of preventable mistakes during Butterfly's promotions, including but not limited to the album
these
being
companies
unavailable
mean
for purchase
next
on
to nothing
iTunes,
to me 'cause I
listed
don't know
under the wrong
anything
name on
about them.
Spotify, and physically unbuyable due to a massive printing shortage. It's important to point out, Kakao M is not solely responsible for the album shortage. Prints can be done by separate third-party companies, but regardless, something goes majorly wrong in the planning process and albums run out. Loona albums become notoriously hard to purchase, and alongside all these other
I do know a little bit about that
problems
though,
arise with
not
Mnet
from me,
distribution and Billboard
but I do
presence
have a
dips.
couple friends
Out on the
that
promotional stage,
that are
Loona doesn't take
collecting,
home a win,
and
so chances
do
of
tell
new
me
sponsors
the
are
struggles
slim to
of that.
none. And here's where it gets serious. At this point, Polaris and Blockberry have borrowed a lot from various patrons around the industry, and many of them want their money back. One of their largest debts goes to Japanese IT company Donuts, and I'm not making that up, their name literally is Donuts. Polaris borrowed 400 million won from Donuts in 2017 and only returned about 40 million of it. Donuts also invested 3.5 billion won into Loona in exchange for Polaris to schedule appearances from all members on Donuts' broadcasting app for a live streaming event. In reality, only one member shows up. So Donuts files a lawsuit against Polaris to return the investment and another under criminal charges for making off with the money. Failing to pay off debts or uphold contracts, Polaris is hit with 2 massive lawsuits, and the court orders them to pay back the remaining 360 million won. The money runs out, Blockberry is put on ice, and the Loona project goes back underground. It is the very error of the moon. She comes more nearer Earth than she was wont, and makes men mad.
See, I love her little transitions. This is really fucking cool. I wish I was this
Now we're going to take
creative.
a look at the inside, the second side to the story, going way back to the foundation of Loona. Enter stage right, Jaden Jung. He's a songwriter and a producer, and he's Loona's creative director. Some fans consider him the god of the Loonaverse. Others call him Loona's deadbeat dad. Before coming into business with Blockberry, Jaden has previously worked with other K-pop groups. He makes his rounds through the K-pop world, stopping by JYP with Miss A, Woollim, and eventually making his way to Polaris. While working with Woollim, he serves as the primary director behind the girl group Lovelies. His big plan? Give the members individual solos leading up to their debut as a group. Sound familiar? This is also an early version of Jaden's idea for a shadow group, which roughly means he wants them to promote their music as a secret underground artist without the use of regular K-pop promotional institutions.
And in 2010, I figured out invisibility.
He says he wants them to be the most unknown female girl group. Unfortunately, being unknown doesn't really pay well. After a couple years batting around as a lay-low group, the cash stops flowing, and Jaden leaves the company, delaying Lovely's debut and leaving them to restart from scratch. He couch hops his way over to Polaris, where he becomes a producer for Ladies Code. Jaden sets about creating a musical anthology to re-establish the group and fanbase after the deaths of 2 members in a car accident. The series is called The Healing Trilogy and plans to have 3 albums. The first album, Mystery, is released in early 2016, and the second, Stranger, is released later in the fall. The third album is scheduled to release in 2017, but an entire year passes without the release from Ladies Code. In early 2018, member Ashley is forced to admit that the third album has been cancelled, and fans quickly discover that Jaden has ceased his partnership with Ladies Code.
A lot of our lovelies and fans are expecting a comeback, but unfortunately it is not a comeback. It is our showcase that's held on our 5th year anniversary, which is March 7th. And I think we're gonna put an end to this trio, the album that we said that we were gonna do. So instead of that, we're gonna do something new. So this is the last part of our trilogy.
It's widely believed that the money sectioned out to fund the trilogy was diverted into Jaden's new project with Blockberry. Around You, one of the songs from the unreleased third album, will eventually become Hyunjin's debut song under Loona. 2/3 of the way through the Healing Trilogy, Jaden packs up his bags and leaves, taking the remaining songs with him and leaving Ladies Code behind. In fact, Jaden might have planned to leave the trilogy unfinished before he even signed on. Jaden meanders his way down the Polaris family tree as early as 2014, where the first stirrings of the Loona project can be found. He signs on with Blockberry when they've just come out of the womb, blue-eyed and big-brained. Jaden and Blockberry set about implementing the solo song concept with their new group. Jaden has a very specific vision in mind for Loona. He wants to promote them as an underground group, a secret art movement led by guerrilla releases without conforming to the usual K-pop institutions, specifically music shows and idol promotions. All in all, it sounds like a cool underdog story. In reality, it's a big risk with a very small payoff range. Remember, Jaden also planned for Lovelyz to be the most unknown female girl group, and had the same underground vision for his previous projects. Blockberry, on the other hand, is a company that needs to fulfill a profit margin. On top of that, the sheer number of different writers alone makes browsing the Loona discography a bit dizzying. Some songs seem straight up airlifted out of other groups' albums and dropped into Loona's, and in some cases they are. While the idea of the solo songs was that they're built to suit each member, certain songs were originally written for other singers, and just brought with Jaden when he left project after project. While it's no question Loona absolutely made their solo songs theirs and hit their debuts out of the park, to this day, we don't know just how many Loona songs were originally intended for other artists. Even some of Loona's other frequent writers, such as Monotree, joke about Jaden being hard to work with. During the debut project, Jaden begins putting stress on the girls themselves, demanding that 16-year-old Olivia Hay lose weight, pressuring Jinsol into bleaching her hair, giving her scalp damage and migraines, and forcing the girls to conform to his ideal Shadow Project standards, even at the cost of mental and physical health. Digipedi, the video company behind many of Loona's videos, also calls him out for being overly restrictive and demanding of the resources and the girls. By the time we reach Hi, no one can really tell for sure what the hell Loona is going to look like. So when they officially debut, some fans call Hi disappointing, claiming that the debut project built Loona up to be more than just one more cute concept in cheer uniforms. Some discourage the sound and concept, claiming Loona to be above this kind of release. When you take a look at Loona's releases, however, Hi isn't actually that far off from a lot of what Loona promotes. On top of that, it sells well, which is probably the goal of producing such a radio-friendly debut. The tensions rise between Jaden and Blockberry, two sides playing tug-of-war with Loona. Where Jaden is a creative director who wants to promote his artistic vision,
is art! I call it bold and bright. More like belongs in the trap.
Blockberry is still a company, and they have to balance the expectations of consumers, the careers of 12 idols, and the fact that they shot themselves in the foot quite frequently during the last few years. Despite the sales from Hi and Butterfly, Blockberry is still juggling looming debt. In a bid to try and re-establish cash flow, Blockberry steps away from the Loonaverse and tries to reorient the group around their music and promotions. Conflict between Blockberry and Jaden ensues. In response, Jaden states he scrapped an entire ballad album for Loona's future comeback. As I'm not involved in the fandom, I don't know exactly what the fandom opinion on Jaden is, but my research showed some heartbroken fans and even several stressed members of Loona. Finally, the money runs dry. The capital borrowed to support Loona has not been paid back. Polaris falls under lawsuit, and Loona goes dormant. In the midst of this, Jaden and Blockberry split. He walks off the set of Loona, gone. 4 happy days bring in another moon, but oh, methinks, how slow this old moon wanes. Now let's take a look at a third party in the story, the fans.
Is this KCON?
In most cases, companies are the primary players, and fans are usually the last actor in the industry. But Loona's fan base is unusually involved in their group's narrative. In the deep, silent period of Loona's hiatus, the fans are left alone with their own hopes and fears, and each other. They've got 2 albums, a dozen solo albums, and no foreseeable future of Loona's promotions. Well, damn it, if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself.
Stan Loona. Hold on, whoa, what happened here? Bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin of Israel and Davos. You'd be more productive if you stand Loona. You gotta love Twitter, man. You gotta love it.
Taking a page out of Coney 2012, the Loona fan base makes a plan to hit the internet with wall-to-wall Loona advertisement. While there have been active fan promotions from Orbit since 2016, this is a whole different level of, dedication. Drop whatever you're doing, say goodbye to your loved ones, stop rewatching Loona TV for the 87th time in a row today, and get busy. Merch promos, spamming the girls' videos under every tweet or post, meme after meme after meme. I'm sure everybody and their dead mother has heard the words, Stan Loona.
Teaser, guys, teaser. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Stan Loona.
At this point, everyone has had their doorbells rung by orbits offering you their Lord and Savior. One of the long-lasting barriers to Loona's success is the air of #NotLikeTheOtherGirls that surrounds them. We can probably say this stems from Jaden's conception of Loona as a shadow group known only to those daring enough to accept them. For a long time, Loona's marketing and industry narrative thrived on the idea of being either on the inside or the outside, which can drive people away since it comes off as pretentious or selective. The self-aggrandizing done by Jaden and some of the louder parts of the fan base damaged Loona's ability to grow their audience. So when those same #NotLikeOtherGirls fans came knocking on everyone's door to advertise Loona, doesn't look so good. Now, every fandom is scummy fans. In fact, maybe if you'd stand blank shows up in just about every fan base with active online presence. Some of the Stan Loona memes are very much fake, others definitely not. But it doesn't really matter either way. Was Stan Loona a success? Yes and no. It certainly got word around. People knew the name Loona on pain of death, and you'll hear tales from people who joined the fandom purely thanks to the Stan Loona meme. But what it largely did was brand the fanbase as desperate, invasive, or downright tasteless at times. And the last thing the story needs right now is more conflict. One of the biggest concerns at the time is the legality surrounding the Looniverse. Roughly speaking, the Looniverse is the narrative story of Loona, the lore and universe that connects all the music videos, members, and songs together. As Jaden is the artistic creator of the Looniverse, there was a fear that Jaden could walk away and take the Loona project with him. This is generally not how production contracts work. Typically, if a project has been greenlit for a production phase, the company has officially bought the rights to the project and maintains control over the project's future. This can seem pretty vampiric, but it's designed to give companies insurance. Once a project is in the works, you're not talking about the paychecks of 3 faceless executives and 1 artistic director, you're also including the capital from expecting consumers and the careers of any performing parties. And in a case like this, it prevents creators from walking off the lot, taking everything of value with them as they go. BlackBerry still owns the rights to the music videos, designs, and promotional content, which leads me to believe that BlackBerry got custody of the Looniverse in the divorce. However, Jaden has left contracts before, and last time he brought the residual material to BlackBerry and gave it to Loona. Maybe he'll do the same this time. Let's take a look at what the Looniverse actually is as a unit of storytelling and narrative. Boiled down, the Looniverse isn't really a solid story product. The Looniverse is largely a series of loosely linked, hinted-at ideas. It's actually a smart marketing tactic. The Looniverse is a perfect machine for practically endless fan engagement. Jaden has created a space within the Loona dynamic that always intrigues hungry fans without ever having to fully deliver. In fact, despite the marketing and branding of the group as Girl of the Month, the members don't even have respective months. Heejin debuts in October, okay, so maybe she's the October girl, but both Hustle and Shu have December debuts, and the company never confirmed if any specific girl represents any specific month, even years after debut. At this point, the closest connection Loona has to the concept of months is just having 12 members. It's also important to note that we may never know how many other pieces of lore were meant to come out. At this point, some even fear the lore will go unfinished forever. Well, in September, the Loona radar starts to ping again, and rumors of a comeback begin rising. However, it just turns out to be BlackBerry advertising Orbit 2.0, the second round of their official pay-to-enter fan club. So no comeback, but enjoy a new photo shoot and some stickers. Things get worse in November. Jaden Jong sits down for an interview where he talks about his new clients, boy group Only One Of. Fans take issue with the way Jaden talks about his new group, as he says, quote, "They work harder because they have a genuine attachment to the music," which many fans believe is an indirect slight at his past groups. The Loona members were under strict control while Jaden was acting director and weren't allowed to participate in the musical process, despite some of them being trained in songwriting, so this dig feels especially hypocritical. Let's talk about another side of the fans for a moment. Orbits act as one of the largest promotional organs for Loona. The Loona fandom is largely international and even then still niche. Due to the smaller size of the fandom, the mishaps with promotions, and the overall fear hanging over Loona, the fanbase develops a strong advertising identity. Loona is one of the most fan-promoted groups active right now. Jaden's plan to make Loona an unknown shadow group had the opposite effect. The whole pre-debut project brought Loona and their fans really close together. Loona's blackout here proves something very interesting about the Loona narrative. When all else fails and everything falls apart, the fans carry the group. This is actually true of a lot of groups, but Loona's fan base is still majority international,
God, I wanna get to
not
this
domestic.
choreo.
In Loona's absence, the fan base is keeping them going across the curvature of the Earth. In fact, the fans are one of the major forces keeping Hope alive during this hiatus. Besides the meme explosion, the fans put up constant outpouring of love for the girls and the music. Armed with only a few dance covers and minute-long updates in the form of Loona TV, the fans keep up an active stream of Loona content during the blackout. And it tells the market something else. Loona doesn't belong to a bunch of faceless executives or a shadow market or one artistic ego. Loona belongs to the fans who love them.
Look at this
Finally,
fucking
after
choreo.
10 months
Holy
of silence,
shit.
the darkness breaks. On December 13th, Loona releases a fan-dedicated single, 365. Or
Which
maybe
we just got to
365, I don't
last
exactly
time.
know.
Yeah.
The song speaks directly to the fan base, thanking them for waiting and promising a whole year of success together.
Such a good song. Such a good song.
It's also the first group single not written by Jaden Jung. The song debuts at the top of the US World Digital Songs chart and tells the world something the fans have been longing to hear. Loona is coming. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air. And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose. A day after the release of 365, a teaser drops. Now, at this point, people are starting to wise up. Not everyone immediately trusts that this is a for sure sign of a comeback. After all, isn't there still that lawsuit thing to worry about? The year closes out with no comeback, but a few days into the new year, BlackBerry releases a new statement. BlackBerry announces on January 8th that member Hassel will be taking a hiatus due to diagnosed anxiety, and she won't be involved in any upcoming promotions while she seeks treatment. Just a day after this announcement, a second trailer goes live, this time with a date on the end. Okay, BlackBerry, maybe you're onto something, but it's gonna take more than that to make up for the blackout. Well, fine. 2 weeks later, third teaser. That does it. It's Loona time. But did you think that was it? A few days later, a Forbes article goes viral on Twitter. Loona's new album is a collaborative effort between BlackBerry and Lee Soo-man. Lee Soo-man is the founder and executive producer of SM Entertainment, the most powerful company in K-pop. He's one of the most influential and important figures in the industry. And as his first project outside of SM Entertainment, he's in collaboration with Loona for their newest album. And you might ask yourself, what powerful marketing technique convinced him to invest in Loona?
Okay, Eve, calm down. The dance covers.
Boom. The word is out. Loona is having a comeback. And now they have an industry titan on their side.
Those dance covers are
Finally,
heat.
it's time. February 5th, 2020.
I'm so bad.
This song is a fucking banger,
I'm
dude.
so bad.
Fucking region, dude.
길게도 blah blah blah. 더 늘어지기 전에 보란 듯이 걸어. 겁내지 마.
Loona has their second comeback, So What, alongside their third album, Hash. New image, new sound, new message. Burn yourself. Loona's
Terrifying
still
Olivia
here,
Hay.
and some believe that the comeback is a direct response to the mess of 2019, featuring the image of the burning moon and the phrase, "Do not accept the fate of the moon," which could mean Loona moving past Jaden's stronghold over the project. The music video makes a collective 1.9 million views in its first 24 hours, and the album hits number 4 on Billboard's World Albums chart, punctuated by their best sales week in America to date. It also becomes Loona's best-selling album on Hunteo, hitting 25,700 sales in the first month alone. The international reception is really welcome for sure, but Loona absolutely cannot slip up here and become a purely Western import. It's February, first popular selling season of the year, which means as many groups as possible are vying for attention, and the industry is hungry. What Loona really needs is positive Korean reception to finally put them on the map back home. Boom. The album debuts at number 2 on the Gaon chart and sells over 79,000 copies in the first month, making it Loona's best-selling album as of the making of this video. And despite heavy competition, it gives Loona what no other era could, a first win. On March 12th, N Countdown awarded Loona their first win for So What.
저희가 1년 동안 앨범을 준비하면서 되게 두려움이 많았는데 이번 상을 타고 되게 저희 곡 메시지처럼 변화를 두려워하지 않고 전진할 수 있을 것 같아요. 여러분 너무 감사합니다.
Finally, after all that, solid proof that Loona isn't going anywhere. No, they're not in the clear yet. There's still a ton of money issues that haven't seen clean ends, damage remaining from the Jaden debacle, and the road ahead is long and uphill both ways. But after looking at all this research and spending 15 goddamn pages recording this video, I can't help but feel like, right now, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. That's all from me this time. Signing off.
Take it on the run, baby. If that's the way you want it, baby. Good old Fleetwood Mac. Sorry. If you're only into K-pop or whatever, that's all good and dandy. If you don't know who Fleetwood Mac is, do yourself a favor. Go check out Fleetwood Mac. They're not really active anymore because they're kind of older. But that was "Take It on the Run," that outro song by Fleetwood Mac. But I felt like you need to know that just in case you didn't know. But okay. Inconstant Moon, A History of Loona by Mera. Obviously, this is a re-upload, not from Mera's channel because she took it down. I don't know why she took it down. If y'all know, let me know. I will put a link to her channel in the description as well as to this video. Also, really good video. This is informative. It was cool. Like I kind of heard some of this stuff here and there, like about the dance covers, kind of saving them. And obviously we got to see why, because SM was like, oh, you want to do a dance cover of one of my groups? Oh, I really like what y'all are doing. Oh, y'all need some money? Here, let me help y'all out, type deal. But we're going to get into the Avengers of K-pop next. And I really like Mera's stuff. I need to get more into what she's got going on her channel as a whole, because the Dodging Disbandment for Dreamcatcher was really good. This was really good as well. Like I said, I don't know why it was taken down. If y'all know, let me know. But thanks for sticking around to the end on this one, guys. I know it was a little bit of a longer video, but it was a really good, informative video. Really good and informative video. But thanks for sticking around to the end of this one. Cheers to you guys, and we'll see y'all in the next one.